vendors, which is very, very helpful. So
Walt,
I'll
Walt
write
is,
that up. Okay.
Walt is in the waiting room.
Okay, great.
Okay. I'm asking him to unmute.
I'm unmuted.
And he seems good.
Good.
Hi, Walt, can you hear us?
Yes.
Okay.
Hi, Walt.
Hi.
I'm gonna remove this screen and then
Hey,
I
good
just
morning.
want a heads up. Let me stop the share. Okay. Okay, let me, before you begin, let me just say, as Susan may have said to you, I'm hosting this meeting. I oversee the Zoom account for the association.
Okay.
Because I had an account before we started doing this, and then at a board meeting, we decided the association should have it. So now I get billed and then I get repaid with a check request. What I do want to say simply for today, oh, I think, Susan, we're waiting for Bob also?
No, Bob will not attend.
Okay, okay. So everyone's here who is going to be here. And I just want to say a simple heads up is this. I live in a 3-story townhome on Baker Court, okay? And normally every other Wednesday, my wife has a cleaning crew, 2 girls who come in and clean top to bottom. Usually they come at 8 a.m. They were due today. They called last night and said, we can't make it till about 10:30. So therefore, I'm sitting on the ground level, and if they start at the top at 10:30 and work their way down, possibly by the time they get down these stairs behind me, okay, the meeting will be on. If it's not, what I'll simply do is mute myself so you don't hear any vacuuming, and I'll just move out of the area.
That makes
Okay,
sense.
does that make sense? Otherwise, I'm
fine.
just, I kind of am observing, although I'm not really part of the meeting, okay?
Okay.
There you go, guys. All right.
Okay. Well, good morning, Walt.
Hi,
I'm
how
Bill Keeley. I'm on the committees. I'm the chairperson for the Procurement Committee. Welcome to the meeting. Thank you for joining us. We have a few questions. I saw you have the paperwork on the contract, I believe, yes?
I do.
You do. Now, as far as one of our big concerns is the bobcats being on site during the winter season. Do you have these bobcats that you could keep on site
Well,
during the
we do,
winter season?
but like, here's the thing. If it's not snowing, we have a large design build division that, like, we've been fortunate this year. We do a lot of work for home builders. So
Right.
here we were lucky. It snowed, for a month continuously. So like they would have been on your site for that month. But if the weather's favorable, we want them on jobs working, and we'll mobilize them for snowstorms, but we do have the equipment.
You own the equipment, you don't like rent it when you need it and stuff like that. Okay,
So-
that was kind of a,
We do currently we rent 25 skid steers for the winter, and we adjust that every year, on top of what we own, but we own about 20. So, but that's a winter rental. They are ours for the winter.
oh, the whole season you rent them. Okay, good. That's important.
We don't go out and rent for storms. So we have the equipment. We do have the equipment to do the job. I'll tell you, the one storm we had, we do work all the way down to South Jersey, all over New Jersey. And that the first storm we had in December, it only snowed till about the Route 190. Oh no, it snowed all the way down to about Tom's River. The next day we had guys snowplowing, and we had other crews going out to do lay sod down in Barnegat because they didn't get any snow down there. It was the first time in my
Yeah. Okay.
career we did that. But we do have the equipment. Like I said, we might not leave it on site if it's not snowing. But like
Right.
in a period like this February, we just got repeat snows. It was one nice thing about this winter. We mobilized once, and then we didn't have to demobilize and remobilize. We just, it was nice. We were under snow for a month, and
Yeah, I can appreciate that. But, well, of course, what we would need if we do have a snow event, especially a heavy one, we would need them on site until the snow removal is complete.
absolutely.
Then if the weather breaks, then I understand you could use them to another
Right.
site, but you'll have them readily available for the next forecast.
We're typically not laying sod anywhere. You know what I mean? Like we tend to shut down and go into snow mode. What our dilemma is that we have a lot of people on staff for the winter, And we have the equipment. So like if the work is there and it's not snowing, we want to demobilize and keep these guys working.
Okay.
We don't lose them.
Okay. As far as the snow, 2 inches, you start treating the roads right away. And the priority of the mid-rise buildings, we have 3 mid-rise buildings. Their walkways and the driveways going to their garages are ramps. And that's could be a dangerous situation. It has to always be priority to get those ramps cleared in the beginning and throughout the storm.
Yep.
Because it accumulates quickly down there. That would always be a priority. And we need to have, even if during the night, we'd have someone for you to be in contact with as people call in with either complaints or requests or with issues, that we be in touch with your crew or your supervisor or yourself if you're going to be here, to keep a constant flow of information so we can respond to the residents.
24 hours in the snow.
Yeah, okay, because we just need to have open communication. That's important, because Susan gets a lot of calls and she needs to have some answers. Otherwise, it kind of like becomes people, complain to them neighbors, and then it becomes the snowballs basically into a big complaining problem. So we need to have good communication.
Absolutely.
That's important.
Absolutely.
And I think David was curious about a different format. What was it? The per event?
Yeah, we heard
Okay.
some other companies actually create contracts based on the number of inches per event. Have you ever looked at anything like that?
Yeah, I think we have one right now. We pay a flat. One of the things is, in order to, the flat fee is good for you and it's good for me. If it's good for me, if it doesn't snow, and it's good for you if it snows a lot. But at some point, we do try to, buffer it, keep it competitive, because if not, then I need to say like, hey, on a bad winter like this winter, what would Madison Crossing spend, and then charge it a full amount of that. We have a few. I carry probably about 6 or 7 per season accounts, like you are. Some of them are one we used to call the Chicago style, which starts. Are you guys under 2 inches too, or do you just start at 2?
The
No,
roads,
for,
I believe, right? Too.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Bill. I'm sorry.
I believe that we start treating the roads at 2 inches is where we start. Is that correct?
Right. So 2 inches or above, and depending if it's below temperature, below freezing, your guys would have to come on site and mobilize. And we have the community set up in 4 quads. But if it's under 2 inches, at the end of the event, you still have to come on site. And if there's ice or, anything, you have to treat that. So does that make sense?
Yes. Don't clear the snow if it's under 2 inches, right? You would just melt
That's
it off.
correct. You don't clear the snow under 2 inches. No, but
Yep.
we do treat for ice. We do put down chemicals and stuff like that if needed, but we only treat once it's over 2 inches.
Yep. So
remove snow.
That's just, I think, pretty much right there. And then I guess the other. So yes, we have another way we did contracts was you gave us a per season amount. It had a cap on how many inches for the season you hit.
Okay.
We would, like say that cap's 28 inches or 30 inches, whatever. They all vary depending on the price. Then we would per inch over that. Or I do have one contract up in Franklin Park that pays us a amount per year, includes ice control. And if it snows over 12 inches, they pay a price per inch for that. But if it doesn't snow 12, the inches are limited. So there's a lot of ways to do it. Another common way over the years that's evolved is that we charge you a flat amount per season. It includes all different over 2 inches. We can calculate it so that it includes all ice control. But if there might be a cap on the inches that we'd have to charge over, but if there is no snow, there's a give back. That's a possibility too. There's all kinds of ways to cut it
Right.
up. the kickback is typically in landscape services, would say it'd be $10,000 worth of landscape, and then you get the next that you didn't have to pay for or
Oh.
something like.
Well,
Um,
Interesting. That's
following up on that, just one thing, Bill, excuse me.
Yeah.
When you say if there, in something like that, Walt, if there's no snow, then there could be contracted a give back. My question relates to the fact that there's never a year with no snow, but there are years where there's very little snow. So is there a minimum
uh,
that would control that payback? Do you understand what I'm asking?
Listen, we can negotiate it all. You know what I mean? Like, we just have to kind of calculate. We'll take average snowfall per inch, what we think we charge per storm in your site, add that up, see where that is, kind of look how we could buffer that for both of us. I come to think of it, that's not a bad idea that you had said. Well, like I said, we only have one account that does that, but they do additional billing. Like, we get to bill them additionally if it's over 12 inches, price per inch over.
Mhm.
And we bill them for one storm this year. There is no give back in that particular account, but all ice control. So the other thing is, if all ice control is included, that's a lot of money typically too. You know what I mean? If a lot of salt, a lot of ice melter. So like I said, I could, if you want, I could give you a couple different proposals on it, and you could take a look at it and see how you do.
Yes,
I'd want-
that'd be good.
Mhm. I think that would be great.
good. Yes,
Okay.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And as far as the laborers, do you have any trouble having, like, we would probably need like at least 2 laborers per Bobcat because we have 4 quads. That's why we need 4 Bobcats.
Yeah.
So we need like, at least a Bobcat and two shovelers
Yeah.
along with that Bobcat to do the driveways and the sidewalks and.
Yeah. We would probably have more than that, to tell you the truth.
Okay.
Just, we tend to, depending on the snows, you know what I mean? But we want to shovel a lot in front of the garage doors. We want to, so that it gives
Right.
them buffer,
You have the snow blowers that would do the sidewalks. I'm sorry.
we do. We don't like to rely on snow blowers. You know what? Some storms, they don't work. We had a lot of wet, heavy snow this year. We had a lot of trouble with them.
Right.
So
We had the Bobcats up on the sidewalks this year and it destroyed the grass. So we don't want to have that repeat of that.
you know what? We use a lot of. Were they the mini skid steers, the one that actually fit on the sidewalk, or no? Were they just taking the
No,
regular?
no, they were wider, and that was the problem.
That
Yeah,
was the
you
problem. Yeah.
Can't do that. So what we have we have these skid steers. They fit on the sidewalk. They're tiny,
Mhm.
like
Mhm.
we fit.
48 inches. Okay.
Have them outfitted with a what they call it, the choo-choo. It's like a V plow on the front of it, and it tends to push
Right.
both. It throws the snow in both directions, so you're not piling it up. It makes a little cleanup for the guys. That's why we probably use more shovelers, and sometimes we don't use them. It depends on the storm and the.
Of course.
Sometimes we just shovel. Like if it's 2 to 4 inches of snow, we might just shovel the common sidewalks. But we make that decision based on, if it's 2 to 3 feet of snow, we're not doing that, and we're going to use this equipment to do it.
Okay.
We try to do, drive first to get people out, so people can get out. Roadways obviously ongoing during the storm, snow
Yeah.
stops, driveways and service walks, and then we circle common walk. Again, creates a little more work, but we find the pressure is on getting people, as I'm sure you guys see.
So Walt, our contract calls for a minimum of 12 laborers. We generally like, 12 to 16. I know you just mentioned that you would have more. So it wouldn't be an issue to have 16 laborers.
No, it depends on the snowfall, really.
Right.
Well,
Of course.
Before, you said 2 per machine, so that's 8 laborers. But no, it wouldn't. We pull a lot of labor in for these snowstorms. But do well.
I'm having a hard time hearing for some reason. Are you guys also?
Yeah,
Is there a
breaking up.
background
really
noise?
badly.
Yeah, Walter's breaking up, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Are you?
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Walter, let me correct something that Bill mentioned earlier about 2 laborers per Bobcat. I believe our contracts for a good number of years have been 4 laborers per contract. It's just that in the recent past, we haven't been given that many, but I think originally it was 4 per section.
That's correct.
FYI.
Oh, okay, I was wrong on that, sorry.
Okay,
Yeah, I mean, we typically will change the amount of labor based on the number of inches. You know what I mean? A 2 to 4 inch storm requires a lot less shoveling than a
Right.
2 to 3 foot storm, if you know what I mean. So,
Right.
so we try to listen. In our world, these guys work 8 hours minimum. You know, everybody wants to be done in 3 hours and 4 hours, but we don't find work for 4 hours. And we tend to not shuffle guys from job unless they're helping out a site that isn't done yet or something. We will give you a dedicated workforce. Based on the.
Bill,
Okay.
could I ask?
Can I
I'm
ask a
sorry.
can I ask a question? Yeah.
Go ahead,
Just one
Kathleen.
question. Okay, so Walter, first of all, nice to meet you. The question is, since you mentioned that you have your folks engaged in other jobs during the season, how soon you will be able to get them on site once we have notification about upcoming storm? What's the plan there?
Well, we will be on site when the snow stops. That's typically our thing, within an hour or so from the snow stopping. We like there when it stops, if not before. Like I was saying, we don't tend to schedule crews that go to multiple jobs. You'll have a dedicated work site.
But is it what we typically have, Susan? I'm just a little bit new to this. I just had one season with the snow. Is it what we typically do? We wait till the snow stops before the roads being treated?
So if you take a look at the contract that you have, all of that information's on there. During a snow event, yes, you have to wait for the snow to stop, but we have to keep the roads open during a snow event. So that's priority. They
we would-
chemically treat generally, and keeping the entranceways for emergency personnel, that's priority, as well as the mid-rises, their garage ramps. And then that's correct. Once the snow stops, that's when they begin to mobilize. But it's all in the contract also, Katerina. It's written out pretty clear. What other questions? So, okay, so laborers are not going to be an issue. With some big events that we had this year, Walt, I know it would be hard to say, but because we are a unique community with, you know, the steps for the townhomes, the mid-rises, their garage ramps, and the villas, we have a unique setup. How long would a typical average storm you think take for your crew to clean everything? Sidewalks, steps, everything.
I'd say,
Is that too general?
well, here's the thing, that number changes by the bracket.
Of
2
course,
to 6.
of course.
A 2 to 4 storm, you're about, I'm typically probably 6 hours. You
So
know,
a 2 to 4 inch storm, 6 hours approximately?
approximately. And that, you know, if things freeze up and it gets icy, it can take a little longer.
Right, of course.
and obviously, if there's 18 inches of snow, that window is going to obviously extend. You know,
Of course. How did your communities, do you have any communities that are similar to Madison Crossing with, you know, like the townhouse having so many steps and the amount of driveways we have and all that stuff?
yeah, we do some communities that are, as far as driveways, a couple of Leisure Nolan, where we do Mirage, Four Seasons, Big Honk. So we do Greenfire Stonebridge. I don't know if you know that. That's out in Monroe.
I can't hear you for some reason. I hear like a TV or something. I'm not sure if everybody else is hearing that, but I
Yeah,
didn't hear what you said.
there's some interference.
Yeah, that's
Right.
Yeah,
my.
he's breaking up, unfortunately.
Right, right.
Okay.
I'm sorry, could you repeat that? I apologize.
No problem. So we do a lot of communities that are similar to you guys. I think, you know, we do some communities that have 1,600 driveways in them, but they don't have
Oh,
steps.
wow.
We do some communities, we do a lot of condos, Brunswick area steps that you guys do that go multiple flights. I mean, you know, we do Plaza Grand. They have garage, they have some steps. They don't, I think you guys have more steps, some of those
Right.
units.
Right.
And But I think, I don't know if I have a site exactly like yours, but I think we have hybrids everywhere, that are, some of them are extensive with driveways and have no steps. We have some that
Right.
are all parking lots and driveways. So it's nothing I haven't done before.
Okay. How many communities do you average for snow removal at I know, I'm sure it varies from year to year.
Yeah, I think with this year we were servicing about 7 jobs.
70?
Seven.
Oh, seven.
Seven.
Sorry. I was like, wow, 70.
No,
Are they mostly
Right.
HOAs?
no, it was 70. We service about 70.
Oh, it
Almost.
was 70.
Yes, almost all 8 ways.
Wow. Okay.
Well, can I, Bill, mind if I ask one other question about
course.
contract? I believe you have a multi-year on the lawn service. Is that correct?
That is
Susan?
correct.
Yes, 3 years.
When you give us some proposals for the different versions, could you also possibly give us, if we would want to give you a multi-year contract to kind of mirror image your lawn service contract?
Sure.
Would that possibly give us any break in price based on the fact that we would have a commitment?
To be honest, probably not. The one thing we're finding with snow removal, our insurance is through the roof. Help's hard to find. We had plenty of help this year. You know how we did it? We paid them $2 an hour more to get shovelers. We paid $22 an hour to get guys out this across the board, and made some other deals in other places that were higher. So I think that we like to have we only do one maintenance. So I like to have a term of one maintenance contract so they renew at the same time. Because we really don't like to do snow for somebody we don't do the maintenance for, because it's a staffing issue. This way we have people that but I don't know that you're getting buying power by lock in for longer, because to tell you the truth, we're a little leery of locking in for too long with the is right now.
Well, I'm sorry, Bill, go ahead.
No, go ahead, Frank. You could have some questions. I'm just,
Well, two questions I have. One is, as we know, with seasonal contracts, as you said earlier, in some years, the association, the customer makes out, and in other years, the contractor makes out. This year, with the amount of snow that we had, would you say that it was a losing proposition for you?
Nope, I think this year it was like the perfect amount of snow. I think that
Oh, okay, good, thank you. And number two, years ago, we had a contractor. In fact, we had this, it's about 3 or 4 years ago, we had someone that we had for, at least 5 years. And they belonged to a weather forecasting service, and they used to share the information with us the night before or the night of a storm, so we could be better prepared here.
Yeah.
Do you belong to anything like that, AccuWeather or WeatherWorks or something to that effect?
Ion Weather service we use, and they give those updates ahead of time, and I let my managers just forward them off to their managers.
And are they then shared with the customer?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Do you have an idea of, I know you said, Walt, that you were, is he gone?
No, I'm here.
Oh, okay, there you go. I know that you said you might give us a couple of different proposals so we can compare, which is great. Just to say, for a flat rate, I know last year was 72. Do you have a number? We would not hold you to it now, just out of curiosity.
We actually count hours. Take a look at that. I mean, it's close. Again, I don't think anything that much from last year to this year, but we did see, we were expecting 1 hour for hand labor this year, and right out the storm in December, where we weren't.
Okay, you broke up a lot, but basically, so you're going to get back to us. I didn't hear a figure, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I need to take a look, but I didn't do that.
Yeah, please send us those options on the contracts.
Okay.
For the, ways of doing the contract. I would appreciate that. That would be a good help to us.
Not a problem.
And we're having a hard time understanding. You break up every
Yeah.
word we're hearing that you're saying. So.
Yeah, I have a request, Walt, if you don't mind. You said you do Plaza Grand, which is an Old Bridge property. This year, early in the year, I got a report from WeatherWorks showing snowfall for the last 10 years, and it was very detailed. And it was something that gave us an idea as to how to plan going forward. I don't want to have to get the same 10-year report next year because it's only adding in 1 year and there is a cost involved. From your work in Old Bridge and Plaza Grand, do you have records on what the snowfall was for each month during the year, during this past season that you could share with us?
I only have I don't know if you're familiar with Ion Weather. We get the Ion Weather reports that give you a total.
Monthly?
No, they give you a total per storm. So it's per event.
Oh, okay. Okay, that would be good if you could share that when you get a chance.
Okay. Yep.
Thank you.
No problem.
Katerina, did you have any specific questions about, because I know with your house, you were concerned about how they put the snow and you kind of got blocked in. Did you have any specific questions on how Walt's team, I don't know, piles snow or anything like that?
Oh, okay. Okay. I see what you're talking about. Thank you for reminding me. It's sunny outside. I forgot about
I
the snow.
know, I know.
Yeah, so there are a few properties in the development. I don't know how you're familiar with our layout, but there are a few properties, and mine is one of them. They're in the, in the dead end of the street. There are a few dead end streets, right? So when they're cleaning the road, they have tendency to drop all the snow by these two houses, and again, mine being one of them. So it made almost impossible for us to get out of the garage for some period of time. So I don't know if you're including this into the procedures or in the contract, but somehow that should be discussed at some point. I don't know you have immediate answer, but that was a concern from very few properties in this development past season.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying, Walter? Did I describe it? Pictures enough? Okay.
We can try to define areas where we'll put the snow, but like when we're doing roadways, we're doing that with snow plows for the most part. So like if you live on the end of a cul-de-sac, unfortunately, that you probably get the snow pushed there. I think in years like this where we have back-to-back storms, it becomes a much bigger issue because there's not always 100% melt off before the next storm. But that's certainly something I'll take into consideration as we put the estimate together and make sure that we're spelling it out.
I think what we'll most probably need to do is, Walt, is, once you see the design of the complex, maybe, the group of us could kind of mark off where we don't think putting snow would be an issue. Certainly, like, when you drive up Azalea, that whole area that's just grassland would be a great area to dump snow because it wouldn't affect anybody. And there might be a couple other ones where you could do that. And we realize that it's really tough to where you have to put it because we just don't have that much open space here.
Gotcha. Yes, certainly be willing to take a look at that with you.
Yeah, that is a priority for certain roads because the townhouses on Daly and McGuire, I think it is.
McGowan.
McGowan. It's really tight. Some areas you actually have to remove the snow and dump it on Bayberry or something like that. It's
Right.
Heavy snow like we had this year, because there's no way to stack it anymore. And it was
Right.
quite an undertaking for them.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So when you can come on site and meet with us too eventually.
Certainly.
To go over certain issues, just to be sure. But does anyone else have any questions?
Just one, now that I think of it. Walt, what do you do in terms of supervision of a job like ours? If you have 70 other properties you're dealing with, certainly you're not here, but do you have adequate supervision, or how do you deal with that?
Yeah, we'll typically have a manager that might do, usually we try to keep one to site.
Mhm.
Sometimes if we have sites that are close together, maybe we'll put someone over two sites that they can go back and forth between. But you have a site supervisor that you can reach anytime on the phone and that will be in touch with you about what's going on it. And then other than that, have an equipment operation team and then a ground team for the shop.
Okay.
But you do have a supervisor that's mobile that will be there and can, if you get,
And usually an experienced supervisor.
yes.
Thank you.
Do they stay the whole time, Walt? Or,
We'd like them to, but you know how that goes with these long storms and sleep, unfortunately. If you let them sleep in the club, that they probably do. And that's your decision. But, I can't guarantee that they stay the entire time.
right,
Because sometimes what we'll do is if we have an extended event like that one we had, I think it was January 31st, we'll let another team come in to keep the roadways open because that's pretty routine plowing. And
Right.
then the supervisor will come when the other team dispatches, just because, that went on for a day and a half before we had to start the cleanup.
Right.
And I
Mhm.
can't ask people to stay with, to start a job when they've been up for a day and a half. So sometimes we do need to stagger that. Usually that's in the circumstance of an event like that where it snows for 2 days or something.
Right.
Okay.
Are you always available during snow events?
My phone is on 24/7. I don't get a lot of sleep
I can imagine.
because it rings 24/7. But yeah. And I'm either usually in the office or I live fairly close to you guys, so I'm around.
Great. So as far as I know, I just have one more question. You mentioned that you wouldn't keep 4 bobcats on site, obviously, because if it's not snowing and you need them for other jobs, we understand. Are you able to keep 2 on site, or?
Not if it's not snowing. Like, we
Okay.
would get them to work,
Okay.
and sometimes, I told you, we do that rental for the winter. We tend to
Right.
shift them up north because we get more snow up north, like the Route
Okay.
1 or, but if we use some of those rentals, they might stay, on site. Some of them did. They sat on sites, this year because the winter was so compressed.
Right.
Didn't demobilize much of anything this winter. Once we started snow, we demobilized a little after the December storm because we wanted to get some guys back to work, and they worked for a few weeks in January. But then once we hit that snow, January 31st, we didn't move a piece of equipment until now.
Okay.
Makes sense.
So David, are you, did you get your questions answered about the sidewalks?
Yeah,
Okay,
absolutely.
perfect. Okay, great. Okay, great.
Okay, I think we covered everything unless it's like
Yeah. Thank you.
No problem. I'll
Just-
put a couple of different options together for you, proposal wise on that. Okay,
Perfect.
yes,
Yep.
yes, that'd be great. I appreciate that. That would be very helpful to us.
no problem. Thank you guys. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
Soon.
so Susan,
Yes.
Jack's up there with the cleanup guys today, right?
Yep, he is. He emailed me this morning and I spoke to him on the phone, so we're all good.
Good. Glad to hear it.
Great.
Sounds
Okay.
good.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank
got-
you.
Thank
You.
you. We'll see you shortly.
You got it.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Okay, somebody else just dropped off.
I think it's
Okay.
Susan.
Do you want me to close this, Susan, or do you have something you want to add? Oh, it's Susan who dropped off.
Susan
I
left.
think we lost
Susan.
Susan, yeah.
Yeah, so it's us.
All right, gentlemen, I think that, and ladies, I think that was helpful. We have some information.
Yeah,
And his outfit is not the size of what we had this year, of course. He has a big operation, 70 properties.
yeah.
He does Plaza Grand, okay? So it is close by. He's going to share that information about Ion Weather with me, which I think will be helpful. Okay?
Right.
All
As
right,
I shared with David last week, I said, I'm glad that I would prefer actually to have a landscaper
Absolutely.
So they
Absolutely.
have the equipment, they have the laborers. It's such a better option.
And if they had to use the blowers, they could do it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. We've seen them do it here,
Yeah,
Frank. That
yeah.
they go up the stairs with the blowers and they just blow the snow off. It's great.
Yeah.
Hey,
I
I'm
think
gonna get in
we
shape
got-
and
we got-
I'm gonna get in shape and make $22 an hour.
There you go. There you go.
So hold on a second. Are we considering this company for the landscaping services as well?
They are our
They
landscape.
Yes.
do the landscaping now, yes.
Oh, they
Yes.
are our landscapers. Oh.
First year, their first year this year as a landscaper.
Oh, okay. Then it makes perfect sense because whatever these guys left us with is terrible from
Right.
landscaping perspective.
And as
And now
was mentioned, we
Walter
have
has
a
to fix all
3-year
that.
landscaping contract with them.
Oh, okay.
So we'll see what he comes
Okay, I
back
need
with
to
the
catch up on
options.
all the latest news.
Okay,
Okay.
okay, I'm,
Okay.
can
Thank
I
you,
set
guys.
that? Thank you.
Yeah, I'm dropping you off. Thank you.
Okay, okay.
Thanks, Frank.
Have a good day.
All right, take
Talk
care.
to you soon.
All righty.
You too. Bye-bye.